Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Power Vacuum. I'm your host, Belmont, and we've got some interesting news coming out of the Crimson Desert team from Pearl Abyss. It's this company working on, I think this is the game that originally started as an MMO, and then they were like, now let's just make it an open world action RPG, which I'm into, single player. That's what I want. I want more of that stuff. They're also working with their own engine, from what I remember. But we have this from IGN. Crimson Desert dev sick of having to repeatedly deny hiding console footage as some fear another Cyberpunk console launch situation. Let us cook. Will Powers, got to stop right there. Great name, by the way. Will Powers. Will Powers, the public face of Crimson Desert in the West, has hit out at people accusing developer and publisher Pearl Abyss of hiding console footage of the hotly anticipated open world action adventure game and promised reveals are coming ahead of its release date. Pearl Abyss has yet to confirm base performance figures for Crimson Desert on console, leaving PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series owners wondering how it would perform on their platforms. Well, if you have a Series S, it probably won't perform. Just letting you know now. Like, I don't know if they've made like the pro version of the S or X. I haven't heard anything about that. They wouldn't of the X because it just leaks better than the S. But the Xbox One Elite was the only console that didn't have major issues with Cyberpunk. It still had like pop in and like skin loading issues, because it was probably about, you could outrun the game's loading by about 10 seconds for like the textures to like load. Like it was a lot of pixelated blurry stuff if you look up the video footage of the different consoles. uh it still had issues, wasn't running a smooth game, but I don't think there's any elite versions of consoles right now other than the PlayStation 5 Pro, which might be able to handle it, but we don't know because PlayStation runs on a proprietary software. But the good news is this game runs on a proprietary engine, which is the most impressive feat for me. I wonder if they'll talk about that in here. If not, I'll talk about it at the end. Uh, where was I? Yet to confirm. Here we go. With the disastrous release of Cyberpunk 2077 still fresh in the memory and the backlash developer CD Projekt suffered by not showing off the game on last gen consoles ahead of launch, some have expressed concern that Crimson Desert might struggle on PlayStation and Xbox and so would prefer to know the performance targets before pre-ordering the game. Here's the issue is they were releasing Cyberpunk on what was effectively outdated machinery. You should be happy you got it at all, because back in the day when a game came out on Super Nintendo, you didn't play it on the NES. When a game came out on 64, you didn't play it on, your Super Nintendo. And originally, PlayStation 2 games wouldn't play, or no, they still won't play in PlayStation 1 consoles, and very few PlayStation 1 consoles would play the PlayStation, or I got that backwards. Very few PlayStation 2s can play PlayStation 1 games. And I don't even know if any of them can actually. I'd have to do the research. I can't remember. It's been so long. But like Cyberpunk was released on backwards machinery. That was the real issue with the game. Because people who had high-end PCs that met all the requirements didn't suffer from issues. They were like over there laughing at console gamers. Uh, and other PC users, because nobody hates PC users more than other PC users. Remember that. Powers, though, has gone on the offense, taking to social media and to Reddit to hit out at the doubters. In response to one person on X Twitter, that works in multiple ways. One who accused Pearl Abyss of still hiding all console footage. Power says, "We're not hiding anything, and I'm sick of having to repeat myself. I've repeated hundreds of times that we'll reveal things ahead of launch to give people adequate time to still pre-order the game for themselves. We're saying this openly. Let us cook, please and thank you." Slash rant. So he's a regular he's a regular Reddit user. Um, Here's the thing. Uh why do people still pre-order games? Like, seriously, I don't get it. Digital technology games do not need to be pre-ordered. They're not gonna run out. It's a fucking download. Like, why is pre-ordering still a thing? Oh, you want an outfit? Fuck it. I don't care about the outfit. I want the game. Don't focus on making pre-order shit. Just focus on making a complete game. But, like, why do pre-orders still exist in a non-physical market? The reason to pre-order before was because stores would run out of copies, and you'd show up to buy a game and you wouldn't be able to get one. So you had to pre-order so to ensure your game was there. Like, pre-orders kind of died, not even with the digital age, but more with like sports games, because people were pre-ordering like Maddens and stuff, and then the stores never run out. Like, if you walked in and you were like, "I want to pre-order Fight Night," the guy behind the counter would probably be like, "Why? What are you talking about? We're not gonna run out of Fight Night, dude. It's cool. It's not Pokemon." Like, but I just don't get why pre-orders even still exist in the digital space. Like, it's a completely nonsense thing. Uh, Powers later commented on the Reddit thread discussing his tweet, clarifying his position. People have the right to information to make an informed purchase. Simply put, that's transparency, and that's what we're promising. But people demanding information on their timeline is entitlement, and that needs to end. That thread, by the way, is a mix of genuine concern and enthusiasm, with some explaining why they're worried about Crimson Desert on consoles and others appealing for patience. I understand it can get frustrating replying to and responding to all the people asking for console footage, but that's because we've seen this before with Cyberpunk 2077, where they held back console footage until the very last minute and players found out that it was a mess. Said one person, I wouldn't call it entitlement, but more like precaution and passion. We're all fans eager to get our hands on the game. I'm sure determining a few minutes of or demanding a few minutes of console footage isn't asking too much, especially as the game's only 2 weeks away from launch. It's too damn, is it that close? The situation with Cyberpunk was different, of course, given it's released on the last generation of consoles, as well as the current. This is what I was saying. Crimson Desert is a PC and current gen consoles only, but the backlash sent shockwaves through the video game industry, and CD Projekt Red ended up having to issue a public apology for not showing the base PS4 and Xbox One versions of Cyberpunk 2077 before launch. Even now, over 5 years after Cyberpunk came out, what happened with the game is driving the discourse. So the consumer's perspective, how late before release is a reasonable date for them to reveal console footage? One person said, the game comes out in roughly 2 weeks. We still have not seen much of console, let alone the performance. I think it's fair for consumers to want answers when we're expected to purchase a product, said another person. Yes, I'm gonna stop there. You are entitled to that as a consumer to know what you're buying. You're also just entitled to not buy it and wait to see what happens, because someone will buy it and someone will review it. There are people who will make those sacrifices for people. There are people out there who buy every new major release and play it no matter what. So you aren't lacking for that. Now, if you're trying to get in on the hype and be one of those people, well, then what do you care? Just be one of those people. But you don't have to buy a game on release, especially in a digital space. They're not going to run out of copies. This is like old school FOMO kicking in, and you don't have to worry about that kind of thing anymore. Thank you for speaking out on the matter. You seem to be convinced that it won't be another Cyberpunk console launch situation, so let's believe that, another added. I think it's understandable that people rightfully get nervous when devs share footage of only one platform while the game releases on multiple. If it would be a disaster, you would have just made everything worse and the trust would be gone completely though. Yeah, because here's the thing though. They're constructing it on a PC, so the test will always be on PC first. They will always have the most footage, the most information, and the most knowledge because they're making it with that. If you were able to make a game with an Xbox console, it would probably have nothing but test footage of console gameplay. And that's just the way it is. Like, although it is a proprietary engine because they're doing it's like the Black Space Engine. I think I'm saying that right. The Black Space Engine. I'm just gonna keep going with it. If I'm wrong, people will correct me in the comments. But it's proprietary. They're not using Unreal. They're not using Unity. Do people still use Unity? I think Unity's still in use, but it's proprietary. It's their own thing. So they do have to work with other software. And the biggest issue will be Sony because of their proprietary software. So that is the hard part. Now, the fact that it's 2 weeks away is concerning because, like, you need something to go on. But I guess they're gonna drop something soon. We'll see. As soon as I see the PS5 runs the game well, you'll have my money. It'll probably be the PS5 Pro, not the PS5. I'm literally sold on everything but performance, one potential fan said. Last month, Power said the developers at Pearl Abyss were doubling down on the optimization phase in a bid to get the performance as smooth as possible across all platforms ahead of Crimson Desert's release date. It's due out on March 19th, price 69.99. So it's a $70 game, so it's not bad. I don't think it should be $70 on digital. Again, I don't see why digital games cost so much. The reason the game prices were able to stay stable is because they had like cornered the market and physical medium. But now that it's digital, the price should go down. Because yes, the price of games has gone up, but your reach is so much further than it used to be. People used to have to literally drive to a store to pick up video games. That was a huge deterrent for a lot of people. You're a young kid, you live in the middle of nowhere, your parents work all the time, you don't have a vehicle, guess what? You're not getting a fucking game. Now you're a little kid, you live in the middle of nowhere, your parents work all the time, you don't have a vehicle. Boop, download, have the game. Like your reach is so far, there's no reason for the price. Video games should probably be like $50 new, in my opinion. Digital, 100 physical medium. That's the price you pay for having your physical copy. That's yours and can't be deleted off your machine or corrupted digitally. But that's just my rant. I personally am gonna wait for Pearl Abyss for Crimson Desert and to see what goes on with it. I already have a lot on my plate as far as my back catalog and what I'm doing with games right now. Plus, like Diablo 2 released the Warlock, which is Diablo 2 getting an update before GTA 6. Diablo 2 got a new character before GTA 6 came out. I want everyone to remember that. Diablo 2 got a new character before GTA 6 came out. But that's irrelevant. Crimson Desert does look amazing. I loved everything I've seen about it so far, and hopefully it lives up to the hype. But that's all I have for this article. This is your host Belmont, signing out.